I welcome you all in this particular session, which is related to a very important topic, inclusion and inclusive education. We all know that after the implementation of Right to Education Act 2009 and even before that, in India we are trying to provide the education to each and every children of this country. Our focus remains to provide the quality education, access to the education, and opportunity to learn to each and every child of the country, whether that child belongs to a particular class, grade, society, group, sex, it doesn't matter. The universalization of elementary education and education for all has remained a goal of Indian education since long. To provide equal opportunity to all the children, practices like inclusive education has started in India. If you remember, in earlier days, there were schools for special children. For disabled children, there were some separate schools. And the children who are going in those schools, they felt that they are not included in the society. Even such kind of arrangements have generated a feeling of exclusion in place of inclusion. That's why, with the implementation of Right to Education Act 2009, education has become a right of each and every child of this country. Each and every child of this country has equal right to get education with equal opportunity, equal kind of facility, and at same place. This movement has become famous with the name of inclusive education or inclusion. And in today's discussion, we are going to discuss about the basic aspects of inclusion, that what is inclusion, what is inclusive education, how inclusion takes place in the schools, how schools can be converted into an inclusive school and all. All these issues will be discussed in today's discussion, and to discuss about these issues, we have with us Professor Amitabh Mishra, Professor in Special Education, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Welcome, Professor Mishra, to this session.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurav.
And I want to start the discussion with a common question that many times our learners and educators are not able to define properly that what is inclusion. So I think our discussion should start with a question that what is inclusion?
Yeah. Dr. Gaurav, you have rightly said all children have right to education.
Right.
Education is their right. And we know education is investment.
Yes.
If the literacy of the country improves, naturally we'll have more better economic, social status.
Yes.
Our citizens shall have better social security. Then quality of life would improve.
Exactly.
So right to education doesn't mean that it is only a legal sanction, and at the grassroots level, the institutions, citizens, teachers have least to do. I understand we have a wider role to play. We have greater responsibility to make sure that all children have right to education. You have rightly said, what is inclusive education? The two things. One is inclusion and other is inclusive education. If you see from the slide, it's very clear. The children with diverse needs and children with disability, if they take part in the school activities, they become the valued member of the school community. So to become a valued member of school community, the teachers and school have to do a lot. They have to get access to the school community. It means they get enrolled in the school, they retained in the school. It is important that to retain them, we have to provide quality education. But before that, we have to understand why all children should be part of school education. There are many children which have, as you have already mentioned, they were out of the mainstream. They were not in the mainstream.
Exactly.
Like children with disability is a major group. Even the female literacy rate was low. Girls were used to be dropped out from the school. Children from different linguistic background, having different language, they don't find school very interesting. They also drop out. Children from difficult social background, maybe poverty, maybe they are from very, we talk about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, their literacy also
Less than
the
normal.
others.
Exactly.
So these are the group of children who are usually been deprived and disadvantaged over the years. And now they have a right to be a valued member of the school community. So it is important that our school should change. Our school should make its role in an effective manner, that these children are enrolled and they receive quality education. I hope inclusion is the process. Inclusion means the process, they are part of the school. Inclusive education is basically to study how these children can be successfully included in the school system. So this is a specific area of education that deals how these kind of children having diverse needs could be part of the school community.
And what kind of arrangements a school has to make, and what kind of skills a teacher need to deal with the diverse learners. So all this come under inclusive education.
Exactly. So we have just discussed about different diverse learners.
Yes.
Let us clarify who are the children with diverse needs. As we have discussed, disability is one of the important area that it makes children very diverse.
Exactly.
Different kind of disability, different degree of disability, and their capabilities are affected. If child have hearing problem, naturally the child will have communication and hearing problem in the classroom.
Exactly.
If a deaf child. If child have visual problem, naturally the child will have problem to look at the blackboard, to read the book, or to take a note from the teacher. If the child has locomotor difficulties, naturally the child would require wheelchair or some kind of assistance to get into the classroom. But there are other diverse needs. If you look at the PPT, there are girls, as we have discussed. Those children who speak different languages, maybe tribal children.
Yes.
We have many examples like tribal children when they join the school. Initially, they don't take interest because they find difficult to understand. And different social and religious backgrounds. So it's very important because teacher as well as the classmates have to understand the child's diverse background. Because child to be integrated, child to be part of the classroom as a valued member, as a classmate who could share and take part in all activities, is very important. The child has to get respect for his or her diversity.
Exactly. It
So,
means that
yes.
when we talk about inclusion or inclusive education, especially inclusion, then inclusion means to facilitate the children from diverse backgrounds. Earlier, when we were talking about the special education,
Yeah.
our focus was more on the children with special needs, CWSN.
True.
But with the inclusion or the concept of inclusion when come into the school, now we are not only focusing on the CWSN, means children with special needs, but our focus has been shifted along with CWSN We should take care of the
Exactly.
children from poor background, children from
Exactly.
socially or economically background, poor background, children from various castes who are not so much exposed to the educational facilities till date in India. So all to facilitate each and every
Yeah.
child, to provide equal opportunity to learn, a teacher has to make some adjustments, some arrangements, and all that comes under inclusion. What I
Exactly.
understand from your
So
discussion.
you rightly said, you mentioned about universalization of primary elementary education.
Education.
You talked about education for all. Initially, the inclusion and inclusive education was started specifically to get the children with disability
These
into the
mainstream.
regular school, mainstream school.
Exactly.
But later on, when we reviewed the education for all movement, when we reviewed the universalization of primary elementary education,
Ji.
it was found that there's not only the children belong to the disability category, the children, those are from tribal areas, the children who are girls specifically, the children basically the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, they were also found not, means they're not well placed in the mainstream.
Mainstream schools.
So that's why to make education 100% means that all children are part of education,
Ji.
we realized it is not only the children with disability, it is all the children. They require a specific attention, a specific treatment and intervention in the school so that they are part of the school.
You very well explained that what is inclusive education and what is inclusion, and how these two terms are different from each other, and how we proceed from the CWSN to inclusive education. Now the question arises that inclusion or the inclusive education is not a phenomena which is specifically related to the Indian context. It is a global phenomena.
Exactly.
In all the countries, in all the part of the world, the inclusion is being practiced
Exactly.
in different manners. So I want to know that what is the basically international legal framework, because when education has become right and the children with a special need or the poor children or the economically weaker section children has get a legal right that
Exactly.
education is their
True.
right. So it is not only in India, it is everywhere, it is in other parts also.
Yes.
So I just want to know that what is the legal framework in international scenario, how these rights are being protected in different countries.
Yeah, I have put in my slide through a timeline.
Yeah.
We started from Salman Ka statement of framework for action on special needs education. You know about the Salman Ka statement of framework.
Yes.
Basically, when we talk about education for all, it started with like schools should accommodate all children regardless of their physical, intellectual, social, emotional, linguistic or other conditions. It was really the I should not say beginning, but it was a strong gearing up of inclusive education,
Yes,
or a force that talk about inclusion of such children in the school system that occurred in 1994.
Yes.
After 6 years, that's year 2000, World Education Forum for Action, that's the DACA, the urgency of reaching the marginalized groups restarted. People talked about, they debated about, they wanted to know what kind of intervention
Are required.
are required and how each country is posed, how each country has taken the responsibility
Exactly.
that how they could manage the marginalized groups in the school system. Then we talked about education for all flagship on the right to education for person with disabilities towards inclusion. It was in 2001. It was another milestone that all countries, they were asked to gear up their actions, policies, so that inclusion becomes a reality, so that the children are really well placed in the school system. And as you know, we have UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. It promotes the rights of persons with disabilities and mainstreaming disability in development. When you talk about development, education, is a very important part of the development.
Exactly.
And elementary education is very important. And if we talk about inclusive development, then we talk about their participation in education. If they have to take part in education, then school has to be ready to accept these children, to give good access to the school curriculum and activities, and they come out with better outcomes. They can be compared with any other children. So this legal work has influenced our Indian scenario.
Okay.
We have, new rights, new bill is coming up, rights of the person with disabilities, 2014. It has already been put in Rajya Sabha, and we're expecting this bill very soon would be a act. And we have a large number of children with disability. They have been very well defined. The children can get access to regular school, and inclusive education means studying with in the regular school would be the best kind of treatment for the children.
So what I make out from your discussion and whatever you have explained till now, I think inclusion is not only a practice to provide a place in the classroom, but inclusion is a kind of philosophy which influence each and every aspect of education.
Exactly.
Enrollment of all the children, classroom facility for all the children, change in methodology of the teaching, teachers' mindset, parents' involvement, and society's involvement is required. So I think now inclusion has become a philosophy which influencing each and every aspect of teaching learning process and education in India. So when we talk about the inclusion and inclusive education as a philosophy, there must be some core principles of inclusion.
True.
So I just want to know that what are those core principles which influence the practice of inclusive education in schools and classroom?
Dr. Gaurav, you have rightly said, inclusion is not a classroom where children are included. Inclusion is not a setting. Inclusion is a philosophy of education. When you talk about a family, if we say school is a family, family means togetherness, oneness. To being together, to being one, we need to have feelings and respect for everyone.
Exactly.
Number one. Number two, in the family, we look after the needs of each family member according to the person's requirement. If the child is not well, the mother would prepare different kind of food.
Exactly.
If the child is, if somebody has some other difficulty, we try to adjust in that way. So in a family, we always look for development of all family members. At the same time, we try to make what best accommodation and adjustment possible in the family.
Yes.
Similarly, if you look at the slide, a child who cannot stand properly because the child has some limitation, physical limitation, but still they're playing with a ball. The classmates are extending cooperation. They're enjoying it. We're not talking about a classroom or setting or how the teacher. It is very important what is in our mind, our mindset, our attitude, our acceptance. Little change can make a big difference. It is very important, the acceptance. Then it's very important to find out how this child would do well in the classroom. So, problem leads us to think, because we know human being, the logical process leads to problem solving. And problem solving is not only for some specific problem, any problem the teacher encounters, always try to find out what best solution would be. And many times we go on trial and error. If we know what best suit to the child, if teachers find to know about these things, I hope it will not be a difficult aspect for the teacher to handle many such children. And as you said, we have to discuss the core principle of inclusive education that I have put in the next slide. We have discussed that all children have the fundamental right and ability to learn. The children are saying, no, we don't want to learn. They want to learn. It is very important how we want to teach them. Okay, it's not problem with the learning. It's the problem of how best we are teaching, irrespective of their individual differences and needs. And if we want to define our system as inclusive, we have to see three things. Children with disabilities and disadvantages with learning, they have to be along with other children in the classroom. And they participate in the same lesson and recreation. What teacher does? Teacher uses suitable material which is appropriate to their various needs. If these three things we bring to the system, that we bring the children to the mainstream, we make them to participate. During participation, we note down what difficulty the children facing, and we try to resolve how this problem can be sorted out through presentation of different kind of material, presentation of different kind of through different teaching methods. So how best the children can be well adjusted in the classroom.
Exactly. So when we have discussed that what is the core principle of inclusive education is to provide the best opportunity to learn each and every child, irrespective of their of his or her limitation.
Exactly.
Because every child has a natural curiosity to learn. They always want to learn.
Yeah.
But due to their limitations or due to their special abilities, they need different kind of treatments or different kind of methods, because there is individual differences.
True.
And it is not only with the children who need inclusion. Individual differences are also with those children who don't need a kind of
talents
inclusion.
Gifted also. They have
Exactly.
the, yes.
So what inclusion provides? Inclusion provides them access. Inclusion provides them opportunity to participate. And inclusion provides them opportunity to learn with appropriate methodology.
Exactly.
So all these three things make basically education inclusive. Now the question arises that when we talk about inclusion and we are talking that every school should be an inclusive school, every classroom should be an inclusive classroom, every children should be provided the opportunity to learn. So what kind of arrangements or what kind of framework we should adopt, especially in the Indian schools? Because now we are trying that every school should be an inclusive school.
True.
Inclusive practices should be in each and every school. So what kind of framework we should adopt so that we can convert and we can say that yes, in India each and every school is an inclusive school. There is no requirement of any model inclusive school.
True.
So what framework we should adopt, what steps we should adopt so that we can make our education system as an inclusive education system?
Exactly, Dr. Gaurav, as we discussed, teachers need to take the responsibility. Teachers need to change their mindset. We have to change our attitude. We have to be positive in our thought that the children can be well placed in the school and they can be taught. And one thing I would like to say, that one method doesn't work. I'd like to put a picture here. If you can look at the slide. Look at these animals. And as a trainer, if you would ask everyone to climb the tree, you say, no, this is the examination. It is fixed for you. Like, the question paper is fixed for all the children. So if we make such kind of fixed, like this is the fixed textbook, this is the prescribed textbook that every child has to go through every chapter, this is the question paper every child has to do, and like in this picture, you want every animal has to climb the tree. We have a monkey, we have elephant, you have number of animals you can see. Is it possible every child, every animal would get the same score? No. So we cannot work with a fixed kind of curriculum.
Exactly.
We need to be flexible, and this flexibility is the core of the inclusive education. If I expect a child to have 100% accuracy in a computation, in a calculation, so my goal would be 60% accuracy for a child who has some kind of difficulties. Or maybe I reduce my accuracy percentage. So we cannot fix up same target for every child. At the same time, let the child compete within self. That is important. Not to compete
with others.
We need to learn, we need to know the best potential. We need to know what potential the child has and how this potential could be explored so that the child achieve the best. And we need to have different materials, different kind of techniques, classroom techniques. And when we use multisensory materials, for example, if we use only blackboard, a child with a visual impairment will not able to look, will not able to see what you are writing on the blackboard. And if even sometimes what happens, a deaf child also doesn't understand the every and each line because he or she may have some language difficulties. If we present the same thing with model along with your writing on the board, as well as you elaborate this thing, you speak in detail what you are writing, so that not only helps a child with visual impairment or child with hearing impairment, it helps every child. It means you do the best teaching, the effective teaching. Effective teaching means access to all children. A child who is slow in learning, you need to be very sensitive to the issue. The basic concept has to be taught in a step-by-step manner. And you have to devote more time. You have to do more practices. If the child is an advanced learner, you have to arrange some advanced level of learning, giving some extra activities, giving extra projects, so you can do and come back. So child who has more severe difficulties, then you have to involve the parents. And many times we can involve the peer also, the classmate also. See, this is the leisure time. Is a very good work if you can help your classmate. Our many friends, they we accept them as a teacher. You must have seen, school days. Like a colleague, a classmate teaching to other classmate. It helped to both. The classmate who is teaching, you getting more and more practice to the learning points, and it is helpful to others. There are many techniques. So it is not only the teacher takes responsibility, the whole system to take responsibility. We have to involve everyone, the parents, the community members, the volunteers, and of course the classmates. We don't say that teachers handling a very large classroom, having a large number of children, how can handle this? The teacher has to find out the ways how he or she can best serve these kind of children. And there should not be any discrimination as such by labeling, calling the child not good, this child not doing well. So we have to make sure every child is encouraged, whatever child does, best of his or her capability. So it means the system needs to be very flexible. And secondly, we need to know the operational framework of inclusive education. We need to reorient the teacher education. Our teachers need to be reoriented. Because as you know, day by day our classrooms are becoming diverse. More such children are getting access into the classroom. And many times teachers feel, if I receive some kind of orientation, some kind of training, I hope I can handle well. Many teachers they feel. And it is our responsibility that all teachers receive that kind of orientation. Some knowledge, some skill development, some capacity building of the teacher definitely would help them to understand the children, assess the children's potential, and find out the ways how best they can be taught along with other children. Because you talk about teaching all. Teaching all. So how all children can be taught in the same timeline, it is very important. We cannot have a separate class for each child. That doesn't mean that togetherness. Together means in every aspect. Yes, of course there could be some children who may require some specific or special efforts from the teacher. Secondly, once you orient the teachers, the next step is the schools need to have an open to the children from all diverse needs. That is welcoming diversity. Every child are welcome. All children are welcome in the school. And this welcome doesn't mean that you have your mission or vision. It's very important you put into practice. How you can put into practice? You have to encourage such children to be part of the school. You have to consider the children as important, valued member of the school.
Society.
You have to introduce the children as important as like others to their classmates. Because it is once the teacher gives respect to the children, naturally there will be a great impact on the other children. If you just, criticize or laugh or, to these children, naturally what the classmates would learn? They would never treat well the children. So once you showed your concern, you respect what they are, and you show your concern as well as you try to help the children in the classroom, definitely this would be copied by rest of the class. It's very important. It means we can call our school is a welcoming environment for all children. Of course, some basic changes we have to make, that is their accessibility.
Infrastructure changes.
Some children may require ramp because the wheelchair cannot climb the stair. They need to be. Some modification requires classroom needs to accommodate children with a wheelchair. We need to put signage like this is the classroom, this is a laboratory, this is, sometimes the deaf children find it difficult. And also they have to be accessible to us as a teacher. How accessible they will to be us? We speak to them, we more and more interact with them, so they approach us for their difficulties. That is one kind of accessibility.
Yes, exactly.
And also they able to communicate their difficulties and all together in the classroom, all the classmates, they try to resolve this problem. That also need to discuss. You can say Raju has this problem, and in the afternoon I'd like to hear from you. You find out solution for the
Solution
Raju.
for the problem.
All the classmates are engaged. They did a deep discussion how Raju could be helped from this problem, and the children definitely will come out with some solution. So it means you can say the system is very much welcoming these children.
Right.
We have discussed about the flexible curriculum. When you introduce the lesson, when you talk about using different teaching learning material, when we fix about the learning outcome of each child, the target behavior, we need to be flexible, even during the examination also, how they should be evaluated, the formative, the summative, these things needs to be. Then it's important we have flexible teaching learning methods. We have to see which method is doing well. Let us check from the internet, find out the colleagues, read more textbooks, how dealing with such children. And more important, we need to involve the parents and the community. Because the child has to spend a lot of time with the parents and the community. So their interaction is very important also. And more important, when the child comes to the school, is 5 years old or 6 years old. When we talk about elementary education, preschool education is very important for C children. Their school readiness skill needs to be developed. If we fail to develop the school readiness skill, naturally, at the age of 6, when they enter the class 1, it will be real tough time for the teacher. So we have to think about that, how preschool education also could be effective for the children. So once we are able to operate on all these points, then inclusion would not be a dream, but definitely would be a reality. So if you could summarize it, the system has the full responsibility to ensure the right to education that we have discussed. The system has the full responsibility. They have to find out the ways. It has to be equipped and ready to handle diversity through different interventions. Intervention 1, flexible teaching methods with innovative approaches. Intervention 2, working deliberately and actively to promote inclusion for all. And we need to take the responsibility that the environment is child friendly. Every child receives appropriate education without any frustration. So these 3 principles of intervention is very important when we talk about making school or classroom inclusive. So many times people ask if such children would be part of the school,
Exactly.
other children would be neglected.
No, that is not.
What would be impact on the other children? We talk about the tolerance. We talk about our concern for humanitarian concern. We talk about respect for the people. So when we have a diverse environment, when we have different people with different problems, I hope we understand the society well. It is a moral education. It becomes a moral learning for the children how to help others. And not only they develop an attitude of helping others. When you teach a child with difficulty, it means you try to utilize the best techniques and teaching methods. And this would not only help children having difficulties in learning, difficulties to achieve in the school, but definitely it will help every child. So efforts taken to improve education for children with disability and any kind of diversity often have the effect of improving education for all children. So this is our message for all learners.
Dr. Mishra has discussed today the basic issues related to the inclusive education. He beautifully explained the concept or the philosophy of inclusion, as well as categorically differentiated the inclusion with inclusive education. When we talk about inclusive education includes the facility or the opportunity, the environment, the practices, the mindset of the teachers, of the peers, of the society, of the parents, and the school environment. Each and every aspect related to the teaching learning process should be modified accordingly to welcome the children from all diverse needs.
Yes.
Professor Mishra has explained the basic operational aspects related to inclusive education. And he pointed out the first requirement is the reorientation of our teacher training program or the teacher preparation programs. The teacher preparation program should prepare our teachers to deal the learner with diverse needs when they will go to the school. He said that school should be a welcoming environment for all the children, regardless of their diversity, regardless of their social or economical background. With the help of some cartoons, he explained that why a same kind of curriculum or same kind of teaching methodology or same kind of assessment practice cannot work for all children.
True.
Because children are of diverse needs, they are from different backgrounds, so they need variety of tools for learning as well as variety of tools for assessment as per their individual requirements.
Yeah.
Professor Mishra advocated that teaching methodology should also be flexible and the collaborative and cooperative approaches should be promoted in classroom teaching learning process. And the very important issue at the end he raised, that it is the duty of the school, it is the duty of the teacher, parent and society that early identification of such children is required. The children who need special attention, their early identification and remediation will definitely help them to accommodate in a normal classroom. And most importantly, this discussion gave a message to all the teachers, to all the learners, that we should welcome each and every child as a child. We should not categorize them on the basis of their caste, their social background, their economic background, or their disability. We should look at how we can provide better opportunity to learn to each and every child in the school.
Yeah, we end this session here.
Yes.
With a request to all learners, if you have any queries, you can write to us, you can send email to us, you can telephone us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.